Meeting of the Nashoba Regional School Committee at 6:04 p.m. As always, I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance so you guys can mute and follow along with me if you would like to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So first we have some public comment, but I have not heard from anybody who would like to participate in public comments. So we're going to keep on rolling, and we're going to head into executive session, probably for about 30 minutes, and we plan to return here to the regular meeting. And so Amy, if you have a motion, I'll take it.
Yep. I move to enter into executive session at 6:04 p.m. pursuant to M.G.L. Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Session to include the school committee, Superintendent Downing, Assistant Superintendent Ross Mulcairn, Assistant Superintendent Laura Friend, Director of Human Resources Jessica Murdoch, and Director of Student Services Royanne DeManch. Committee will reconvene to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
I do so declare, and I will second that motion. And so we're gonna, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
I vote yes. Jillian?
Yes.
Shondor?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And Jackie?
I abstain.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the question was, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just to go into executive session, Jackie. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. Thanks for joining us, guys. I know on the agenda is the consent agenda. And Amy Cohen, do you want to read a motion for us?
I move to approve the consent agenda for January 28th, 2026, as presented tonight.
I will second that. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Just trying to expand my screen. Sorry, guys. I'm not seeing any golden hands. All right, so we're gonna take a vote on that. I vote yes. Shondor?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Jackie? Jackie, did you say yes?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. John?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And Amy?
Yes.
All right. That's the consent agenda. Now we get to move to our favorite part of the meeting, and that is our report from Ryan and Maria. So I see both of them are here. Welcome, guys.
Hello. I apologize. I'm not in the usual setup. This came from the teacher appreciation hockey game, which was awesome. So that was cool. I saw probably 30 teachers on jerseys from students. So that was really cool to see. I'll give you guys a quick update on the Massachusetts Association of Student Representatives and kind of what they're working towards right now. So we're planning a spring conference, which is coming up in May. I think May 16th is the actual date. So that's supposed to expand membership. We've been doing a lot of work reaching out to superintendents of different school districts and trying to identify their representatives, which we'd invite them over to that delegate assembly. And then at that actual delegate assembly, we're each going to be kind of sharing our practices, as well as the directors and some of the leadership will be running through some workshops on just different practices and kind of unique kind of changes in the atmosphere, especially with each kind of individual schools and their policy. And then Maria can talk a little bit about the student council. And then I can talk about the midterm feedback after she kind of touches on that as well.
Okay, so hi guys. Last time I was the little waves. That was kind of cute. Thanks. Last time I talked about the comments that I was seeing on the handbook that we posted on Stuco, and okay, some comments were really vague, and I think that to prevent any miscommunication, me and Bella, the vice president of Stuco, decided that we were gonna wait until our next meeting and actually have a conversation, go through the comments and have a conversation to like prevent any miscommunication and also to remind people that some things on the handbook are state law, so the school can't do nothing about it. And some people weren't there when we first posted the handbook, so they didn't hear me talk about this, but it's always good to remind them that some things that the school cannot do anything about since it's state law. And also to just have that, I think it's important to just have that conversation and go through the comments and read them and have that conversation to really just prevent any type of miscommunication and make everything clear so I can present this to you guys totally clear and and then the midterm schedule. I mean, I guess we can't always please everyone with the schedule, but the thing that I heard the most about was the late start. A lot of kids prefer the late start because a lot of us have after school activities and work, and we end up studying until late, and then waking up really early and having to just do an exam. I think just sleeping in it would be just better for a lot of them. And also we used to have our lunch block, which was a review block, which a lot of teachers said they thought it was better because they felt like the students actually had the time to go and review things they thought they needed help with. And it's just a longer period of time because now we only have 20 minutes between periods, so it doesn't give much time. And also the halls are really busy and everything is just so noisy, and I know it could make it hard to concentrate for some people, especially because there's no place. I mean, there is the library, but it's the whole school. There's no place for everyone to just sit and concentrate for 20 minutes. So that's what I heard on my part, and then Brian can just share with you.
I can definitely mostly speak for what I heard from the seniors. And I think actually the general consensus was that they preferred this year's to last year's. A lot of it was because they were getting home a lot earlier, and that allowed them to have more time in the day and afternoon to study, which I think was kind of a key driver in that opinion. But also the people talked about the period that we missed out on, the review period. And I think teachers as well have spoke to that, and I talked to teachers about that, where they think it puts the students at a little bit of a disadvantage, where they're not really having an organized set out period, which was used to be 90 minutes. Superintendent Downing, you have a hand up over there, but that was my spiel.
Is there anything else on the student report, or was that all of it?
I think that's all. Closes it out.
All right, great. So I'll go to questions now on any part of the student report, and I'll start with Kurt because he does have his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to come back to Maria and Ryan and just remind, in regards to feedback on the student handbook, remember that's also a process with the school council and Dr. Boynton, and we don't want to circumvent their responsibilities. So anything that you want to speak to regarding the committee, make sure you're vetting it through Dr. Boynton and the school council as well, because they're the ones that actually put forward ultimately the school handbook at the end of the year. So, and we can certainly follow up at school to kind of talk about what that looks like, but you'll want to make sure you do that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and Kirk, on that note, I think that I wanted to touch base with the student council and you to schedule another opportunity for, some information exchange with the communication subcommittee. So I'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah, to get the second meeting of the year, Amy, you mean?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we'll take advantage of Ryan and Maria being here to engage with Mr. Kaiser and get us a date for our next visit, please. That'd be great.
Yep. What other questions do we have for the student report, if any?
I had one question.
Yeah.
Because they both brought up the midterm schedule. Was there any feedback around students with sports? Because I know that was something that I didn't really think through until it hit my family with the early dismissals and then coming back to the campus for sports practices.
I can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
I know I think it definitely varies by sport, because I have friends on the basketball team who, regardless of the schedule, practice towards the night at 6 o'clock, something like that. So for them, there's really no huge bearing on whether, on how they would be able to make it. I can't really speak to hockey, but I know that with the rink and ice times, it's all kind of all over the place. So they have to drive to the rink regardless, so it's not like they're going to or staying at Nashoba right after, but that's just kind of how.
Yep, I heard that as well. Especially for younger kids who don't drive, it's hard to get back at 2:30 or 3. Any other questions or comments? All right. So as always, Ryan and Maria, we thank you for being here. Your voice is super valuable and we appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and watch the Nashoba versus Hudson basketball game. Yes,
good luck.
Yep. Thank you.
I know it's tough. Go Nashoba.
Yes.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. Moving on now to the superintendent's report. And I hope I just wanted to ask the committee if there's no objection. There is a new unfinished business item here, the review of the school committee webpage. It's also tucked into the superintendent's report. So is it okay if we bump it up to the superintendent's report and cover it in its totality there? I'm not seeing any objection. Okay, some thumbs up. Thank you. So Kirk, I'm going to turn it over to you for the superintendent's report. I am going to stay with you. I'm going to turn my camera off so I can go somewhere where there's light.
Understood. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the committee. I'm going to begin by saying our report's going to be our meeting's going to be shorter and truncated tonight. We plan to bring you the revenue side of the budget tonight. We did not receive that information until 2:30 this afternoon. So in lieu of trying to put that together in haste prior to this meeting, I think it's better that we make sure everything is accurate and in line. We'll bring that full report to you at the February 11th meeting. But the governor did release the budget today, and you can find that information online in general about the fiscal year 2027 governor's budget. That being said, we have a few announcements. First is a general announcement in your packets is the Assabet Valley Collaborative Update number 2, the financial audit. So you'll see the draft financial audit that ultimately was approved by the board of directors of Assabet Valley Collaborative, for which I sit as superintendent of Nashoba. And there was nothing remarkable in the audit to necessarily report. So there's a summary statement here in the superintendent's report. If you're interested, you can look in the detail of the full report, but all the finances within the Assabet Valley Collaborative appear to be in order. And on the subject of audits, I will turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Mulcairn to speak on the FY25 financial audit.
Yep. Thank you, Superintendent Downing, and good evening, school committee members and the public. Our financial audit was completed by Roselli and Clark and Associates, certified public accountants. Roselli and Clark do a number of school districts and regionals as well. Some members of the committee may remember that we switched to Roselli and Clark after a long relationship with another firm. We found that it's just been beneficial from the jump with this new firm. So they've helped us in a number of ways, and we had a positive experience again this year. Similar to the AVC, nothing of note, nothing of concern. The full report's available on our finance and operations page. Mr. Powell from the school committee chairs the audit advisory committee that met directly with Mr. Roselli, one of the partners who did our audit, and they were able to ask their more in-depth questions and provide feedback and get feedback from Mr. Roselli. I don't know if Mr. Powell has anything additional to add to that, but in brief, positive, and it's posted to our website, and it's been shared with the town administrators.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that, the auditors had a lot of praise for the district in terms of, how clean the records are and how cooperative they are throughout the process. So all in all, it's been a good relationship, I'd say, with the auditors and the district. So we should keep going with them for the foreseeable future.
Great. Madam Chair, we'll pause for any questions on the two audits before we bring Ms. Hannigan forward.
Okay, are there any questions on that item? I'd just like to say thank you, and I appreciate Scott's comments. That bodes well.
Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to bring forward Bridget Hannigan, our communications specialist and innovation pathways coordinator, to talk to you about the school committee website update. So take it away, Bridget.
Everyone, I'm excited to bring the initial draft of the school committee website update to you tonight. It is linked in the superintendent's report. Is it helpful if I share it on the screen while I do a quick walkthrough? Okay.
Yes, I think that'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will do that now then. All right, so can everyone see my screen? Perfect. Okay, so this is the initial draft of the website. It was completed using feedback and priorities that were identified during the school committee's spring 2025 communication survey, and it's modeled after a combination of the district's Finance and Operations Center, Family Resources page, and the NRHS building project site. So the new site had high areas of interest into defined sections. Those come with headers, icons, and drop-downs, all within ADA compliance. And it's really with the goal of improved accessibility and navigation. The next steps are going to be, I'll give you a quick walkthrough of this. It's available. You can look at it on your own time at any point. But really it's just to identify, what supporting pages we need to create, any feedback from you as a committee and the communication subcommittee to make this even stronger, and then the creation of a school committee questions form, because what I found out was that we can't include a widget. So that's kind of just the general overview. Before I fully walk through this, I also want to say we have sorted out representation in the common, and it can begin as early as February. There will be an addition of a news from the NRSD school committee section. The section will feature a button that links directly to this page once we have it published. The Friday prior to each school committee meeting, I will pull information from the school committee planning calendar, and will include a link to the meeting the following Wednesday. And then the Friday after a meeting, we'll do a follow-up with what was discussed and a link to the video that is posted. So there will be a rotating section each week in the common, just depending on whether it's a week on or week off. So to do a quick walkthrough of the website, we have a general welcome. We also have each of the school committee members listed. We have the school committee's goals, upcoming school committee meetings with links to all virtual, as well as a link to the school committee meeting calendar that is published each year. And then finally, this is where we would be putting, it has all of your contacts linked in it, but this is also where we would be putting an Ask the School Committee a Question. To our right here, we also have the latest meeting. So that will be updated each time we have a new meeting. And then if you scroll below, this is modeled exactly off of what the subcommittee brought to us. We have all of our committee meetings, agendas, meeting recordings, and planning calendars linked. To the right, we have subcommittees, all linked to their pages with their corresponding agendas. We have information on the NRSD budget with the budget process, which includes a video that is created and also lives on our finance and operations page, as well as the budget timeline, upcoming budget meetings. This section will link all meetings and meeting recordings and materials following each meeting for the budget. And then finally, just resources that have already been created by the district when it comes to the budget. Over here, this is where I'll need to work with the committee or the subcommittee to identify how we want to create pages that showcase the NRSD policies that are in review and what have been adopted. And then we also have the NRSD policy manual linked here as well. Moving on to the bottom of the page, we have public hearings. So we have the upcoming public hearings as well as links to the previous 2 years of public hearing meetings. Under current curriculum information, we have the strategic plan, our curriculum guides, and then our equity report, the final report, the presentation, and the school committee meeting where it was discussed. Moving over to evaluations, we have the superintendent evaluation over the last 3 years. This again shows when this year's is scheduled, but as well as the school committee meeting in which it was recorded, as well as the materials that go along with that meeting. And then finally, with additional information, I will just need to link or create some language for open seats as they become available and how we want to represent this. Additionally, we have school committee press releases, which is already a page that exists on the website, information about the regional agreement, and then a direct link to all of the school committee archives. And then at the bottom, I took the diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging statement that was adopted and included that. So all said and done, everything from the initial website is here, just organized into more easy to navigate buckets for community members. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to field some of those.
Yeah, so that is phenomenal. I see some golden hands, so I'm going to go in the order I just noticed them. Shandor.
First off, like massive improvement. Really a fan of this. In particular, I just like the video is so prominent there as a way of sort of showing current stuff, but it's a lot easier to find stuff. I'm starting to make a list of just the quibbles and comments in terms of feedback. What is the best way to provide that to you all?
I think, Shandor, is it a lot of feedback? Is it like minutia? Do you tell me what you think is best based upon what you're trying to provide?
Yeah, a bunch of it is minutia, but some of it is
kind of substantive.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges we have is that so much of the content is buried in meeting materials, and trying to find something where you have to know what meeting to go and look at the meeting materials is still a somewhat unsolved problem. I'm not entirely sure the best way to solve that. That's probably my biggest thing. Like most of the stuff are like the columns are so narrow that when you embed a video there, it is unviewable. And so like, can we just open up that in a new page instead of trying to show it in there? So I have a lot of little things like that, but
I wonder,
really big one is how can we make the meeting materials more discoverable?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, Kirk, do you think it would be best for everybody to send me the minutia stuff and I can compile that and send it to you or to Bridget, and then we can just talk about the substantive stuff right now?
You could do that. Madam Chair, I know you're always busy as well, so we do have a communication subcommittee.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like it would make sense to funnel it through that subcommittee to me.
That's what I was going to suggest, is that maybe we could invite Bridget to our next meeting and work through some of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine by me. And so maybe, Amy, can people send you an email if they are like, some members of this committee are really good at finding and rooting out small things that are important but minute. So can people send you an email with just like minutia feedback? And then we can talk about some of the substantive larger things right now. And you could maybe take notes on that and bring it up at your next subcommittee meeting that you invite Bridget to?
Sure.
Bridget, is that okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
All right. So everybody, if you have the minutia stuff, email it to Amy. But let's just talk about the bigger, more substantive things right now that Amy can also take note of and discuss at the next subcommittee meeting. So Jackie, I think or rather Shandor had the first item here, and that is how can we make very important elements of our meeting materials more discoverable? Shandor, do you have an example of that? Like something that gets buried in the meeting materials but is important and doesn't fit under one of these categories?
So at some point, like the draft of next year's calendar is tied to a specific meeting. Eventually it gets published all over the place, right? But while it's still being discussed, it's only tied to that meeting.
Okay, so Amy, that's
just off the top of my head, that's the first example I come up with. But really, if you, I don't know if there's a way to maybe have a search function to make things more discoverable for the meeting materials.
All right. So Amy, is that cool? You have that as the first substantive concern? Okay. Jackie.
I will extend an invitation to Ms. Hannigan to join the policy subcommittee at our meeting in March, because then we can go through, I think, some of those areas of question. I love this, and I also wonder if there's a way for us to elevate our DEIB statement from the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that. I can look to move it up back to the top, or even put it maybe with one of those initial drop downs right under school committee goals, or even work it into there as well.
Thank you.
Kirk?
Yeah, I don't mean to be the skunk at the lawn party, but I just want to make sure I bring up a couple of things. One is Ms. Hannigan has put a lot of time into this and really appreciate it. So I think always remember to work through my office, though, as we have to, how we're deciding to do that work, because some of the things I can simply direct Bridget to put in there as I attend those meetings. The second thing is, as we're talking about the types of things we would like included here, let's be mindful not to create a problem while we solve a problem. Because we have information in other places on the website as well that could set up the potential of creating confusion of where things are located, but also has the potential of having a lot of duplicitous things in the website that take a lot of time and effort in terms of thinking about what's the yield. So nothing specific to point out there. I'm just asking we all be just mindful of that concept.
Go ahead, Amy.
Thank you. First of all, I want to just express my gratitude to Bridget for the work she put into this and how much of an improvement it is, and how you were able to take the recommendations of the communication subcommittee and package it into this nice little much more graphically pleasing website. And I think, some of the feedback you're getting now wasn't incorporated into the recommendations we gave you as a subcommittee. So I think you've taken what the communication subcommittee presented and delivered that. I think now that we're looking at it, we're noticing other things that could maybe improve it a little bit more. One of the things that I'm noticing is that the bucket called public hearings, I wonder if we could bring more clarity to the fact that it's budget and school choice hearings, because somebody from, who's not familiar with these processes wouldn't know that those are, like you'd have to click to find them,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing I was just kind of pondering was that on the top here, you have upcoming school committee meetings, which I really liked how everything was linked beneath it. But I wondered if that duplicates information on the meeting calendar that's listed below. And if instead, maybe on the top, you could have where it says upcoming school committee meetings, you could have I don't know how to phrase it, but the next school committee meeting with like the agenda for the next school committee meeting. So that's easier to find.
Yeah, that's absolutely something that we can do and just link, and it will probably be easier to maintain that way as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we want to make this sustainable and manageable at the same time. So if there's, the less amount that you have to update on these pages, I think the better in my mind.
that is a good point.
Yeah. And I think right now it's in a pretty good place with having the meetings listed. It really means that, on a weekly basis, I'm going and deleting things and adding links. But the content is being created by the meetings and the meeting materials that are automatically generated each week or every other week.
All right, great. The only thing I wonder, and maybe I just missed it, there's a section on the current webpage that's called School Committee Member Documents. Did that move over?
That isn't here. It was something I wanted feedback about. It's something that we could put into committee meetings or in additional information, but want to know from the committee, where you think that is bucketed the most effectively.
So I'll leave.
Oh, go ahead.
I would leave that to the subcommittee in the conversation that you guys want to have. I know that there's some orientation material in the manual that we worked really hard on that I would like to see get on there, but otherwise I'm flexible. So Amy, I'll let you take that up at your subcommittee meeting and how you want to manage all of that in that internal documentation. Any other questions or comments? Substantive? All right, I'm not seeing any. And just one more big ol' thank you so much, Bridget, for your endless work ethic and awesome style.
Thank you guys so much for the feedback. Pretty good first draft, but as always, there's more we can do to make it better.
Yeah, and thanks to the subcommittee, the communication subcommittee, for bringing this forward and pushing for it. It's going to be great for the people. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Kirk, forgive me. I'm a little lost in all my tabs. More for the superintendent's report?
No, I think we're on to new business, Nature's Classroom and the Washington, D.C. requests.
Very good. All right, guys. So onward and upward here. I do want to just reiterate one thing that Kirk has already said, that the governor's budget numbers did not really come in with any time to insert any of that information. So at our next meeting, we're going to be getting a much more substantive budget update. And I have already sent all of your questions to Kirk regarding things that you would like to be elaborated on. And we already asked Ross to elaborate on a couple of things at the last meeting. So that budget update that comes on February 11th? On February 11th will be a sizable one. All right, guys, new business. We have a couple of travel requests, which is exciting. And so, Kirk, I'll let you tee this up.
You bet. I think first we're going to talk about Nature's Classroom. And I'm going to bring forward our elementary principals, Mr. Scott Blanchard at Mary Rowlandson, Ms. Carrie-Ann Coppinger at Center School, and I believe Ms. Chandra Ferraro is doing this. Ms. Chandra Ferraro is our assistant principal, our fabulous assistant principal at the Florence Sawyer School. She is here to represent Florence Sawyer, as Mr. Bates is at a very important family celebration this evening. So thank you, Ms. Ferraro, for being here. And I'll turn it over to them for their overnight field trip requests for Nature's Classroom. So take it away, Scott.
I'm going to take it away if that's okay.
I took a guess.
It was a good guess. Good evening, school committee members, and thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. Our second year of a district-aligned trip for our fifth graders to outdoor classroom. My colleagues and I are seeking your approval to initiate the process to book and plan this trip that will allow our district fifth graders a rewarding common experience. In this year's planning process, we continue to be mindful of Strategic Objective 3, Initiative 5, to grow a common Nashoba identity. We found a site, Oceanwood Camp in Ocean Park, Maine, that can host all three of our schools within a similar timeframe this coming October. This is where all of our schools attended this past fall, and the trip will continue to ensure consistency in the student experience across the district. Mary Rowlandson would go the first week of October, Center School the third week, and Florence Sawyer the last week of the month. We appreciate the opportunity to present this, and we are happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may add a piece as well.
Please.
One of the things that we've talked about with these overnight field trips that are so far away, we bring them to you now so we can do the appropriate fundraising, but chaperones have not been identified yet. And so in speaking with Ms. Masterson today, we're setting up a process where on all of our overnight field trips, we will be doing an update of those 1 month, 30 days prior to them actually going on the trip, with a resubmission of the form so that you can see the updated chaperones with Corey checks and fingerprinting.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate you guys creating processes to make everything constantly better. So I'll start off by saying I'm so grateful for this presentation. For many, many years, this was not consistent across the district, and I think this is really great for kids, and I thank you all for making this happen so that it is consistent for all of them. Does anybody else have any questions, clarifying or otherwise? Let's start with Shandor.
And Kirk, as an aside, this is an example of meeting materials and finding stuff on our website. I don't have easy access to last year's version of these requests. Are the costs similar for both the overall cost and the total cost to students?
Good question. Does anybody know what it cost them last year?
I don't have the exact figures, but the cost has gone up a little bit, but it's comparable to what it was last year for us.
Yeah, that is a great observation, Shandor, that this is something that's buried in meeting materials that would be really hard for us to track down. That I'm not sure that this would be a drop down on the school committee website, but it's real food for thought. So thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Scott.
So maybe I'm misremembering the trips, but if I remember correctly, this used to be a spring trip and now we do it in the fall. Is that right? Yeah. And I'm just wondering, are there different educational experiences from doing this in the fall rather than the spring? Like, I think of spring and that's when flowers are budding and the like, and in fall the leaves are coming to the ground. And I'm just wondering, are those different experiences, and is one or the other better, or what are the merits of fall versus spring? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Great question.
I can answer that. So Mary Rollinson has always done it in the fall, as far as I'm aware. And we've been doing it for decades. The reason why we've always liked to do it in the fall is because it sets up the community building aspects to carry through the rest of the year. So the kids they're there for the week. They get to learn things about themselves and each other that they wouldn't through another experience, and then that common experience that they've had is used as an anchor throughout the rest of the school year in terms of supporting their sense of community and camaraderie and friendship. And if we did it in the spring, they wouldn't have that to carry them through.
Great. Sharon.
I just wanted to add to Scott's question that the Nature's Classroom where they're attending is right on the coast in Maine. It's in Old Orchard Beach. An advantage to going in the fall over the spring is that it's warmer. In the spring, the water's cold, the air is cold, everything is cold. And when they go in the fall, they really can get involved in a lot of hands-on, like hands-in activities because it's still really warm.
Interesting. Thanks. Jackie.
The 2024 permission form was $495 per cost to the student. So just as a point of reference, I think it's close to. I would reiterate what Sharon said, and it might be useful to cross collaborate with families because there's a lot of materials that the kids use, and if they're going one after the other, maybe they can share resources.
Any other questions? Jillian, go right ahead.
Thank you. In terms of sort of standardizing the experience across the 3 elementary schools, do the principals coordinate the sort of counter programming for the kids who do not attend Nature's Classroom to ensure that the kids who stay behind are also getting similar experiences to their peers in the other towns?
That's a great question. We have not done that yet. But I think it's a great idea, and I think it's something that we should definitely explore going forward. Teachers at MRE a few years ago put together sort of a curriculum that they've used for the kids who stay behind, and we'd be happy to share that or build upon it in collaboration with the other towns so that there is a common experience.
Please forgive me. Is this the first time Stowe is going, or is this the second time? Did Stowe just go? It'll be the second.
We did
time.
our first trip this fall, and it was very successful. So everybody is pretty excited to go back, and we have volunteers jumping up wanting to come and chaperone. So it was a really wonderful experience.
And so, I mean, what do you have like just a raw number of the amount of kids who don't take part in this? Is it 2? Is it 15?
Last year, I believe we had about 9 kids that stayed behind in the fall.
And I'm sure that's for a variety of reasons, but never financial?
We offered financial support to anybody that needed it. And for those that came forward and requested it, we were able to fully support their needs. And we had some surplus within the principal's fund. The PTO partnered with us and helped support our busing, which was helpful for the families as well.
All right. So thank you for that recommendation, Jillian. It's a good one. Thanks, Scott, too, for hearing that. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Just one more thought that occurs to me, and I could be totally loony here, but is there any effort to reach out to the homeschool kids that live in our district and see if they would have any interest, or is it even possible to extend the invitation for them to join us for the outdoor classroom?
Kirk?
Yeah, no, because they are not students of the Nashoba Regional School District, and our students are insured as a result of that. So we would not ever entertain that idea.
Okay. So this is something that by your new process, Kirk, maybe this should go on the planning calendar, like one of our first meetings in September, right?
Yep. So Ms. Masterson will always take a look at that. And as we look at that, put it on our future planning. So
great. And then to give us an update, and then this will go on the consent agenda at the next meeting, everyone. So if any questions arise between now and then, please feel free to let me know, and I can collate it all and bring it to Kirk and get answers for you. So thank you to all of our principals and assistant principals for being here. We really appreciate you all taking on this enormous challenge for the betterment of our kids. It is definitely not easy for the adults. So thank you so much for that. And now we're going to move on to our next trip, this legacy experience that is back. And so, Kirk, I'll let you tee up the Washington, D.C. travel request.
You bet, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to bring our middle school representatives forward. We have Principal Sean O'Shea at Luther Burbank. We have Principal Kyle Grady at Hale. And I would like to introduce to the committee our Dean of Students at Florence Sawyer School, Mr. Mark Schultz, representing Joel Bates in the Florence Sawyer School. And I thank you, Mark, for being here tonight. And I believe I'm turning this over to Mr. Grady. Is that correct? Mr. Grady, take it away.
Thank you for having us tonight. Similar to our elementary colleagues, we're looking for your approval to attend our trip to Washington, D.C. I'm personally very proud of this trip. We've run this now for more than 10 years, and we did not stop the trip despite the pandemic that occurred. We made sure that we had a similar trip. Might not have been the exact same trip, but the credit really goes to our teachers who are prepare our students for this and guide them throughout their 8th grade year and their 7th grade year to be prepared to represent our school. And it's a lot of work for them while they're there. They come back tired. They come back really connected with their students. This year, we had a significantly different experience in one of our schools where we went in the fall, which I think Joel would be able to speak very clearly about it if you were here. Mr. Schultz could absolutely do that as well. But it was these are great experiences for our students. It connects directly with the 8th grade curriculum in social studies. And the experiences that they have are things that, similar to Nature's Classroom, serves as a bookend to their time with us in middle school. And it's something that we hope that you tonight will grant us permission to continue to move forward and plan. So you're going to hear first from Mr. Schultz, who's going to talk about the trip that's planned for this coming fall, and then Principal Shea, and then I'll conclude.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I think that we had sort of demoed the fall trip this year, and pretty much entirely positive feedback, and something that, you know, students and the staff that were involved are keen on doing again for the next year. One of the highlights that to point out is we were at the Vietnam Memorial, and our tour guide, who's been there like time and time again and has never done a fall trip, says to our group, "We've never seen the Vietnam Memorial this up close." So I think that going in the fall provides that sort of experience where the crowds aren't there, and that's the reason why we drifted away from it to try it, was noticing like how chaotic it can get when you go in the spring. Obviously still a great experience, but one reason we shifted, and a lot of positive feedback for that. So we are looking to go again in October from the 20th to the 23rd. So that makes us, I think, a little bit different than the other schools. But I'm happy to take any questions that you have on that.
Great. Should we ask questions now, or do you want to finish it out, Kyle?
If Principal Shea would go, I think.
Sure.
Okay.
I just want to reiterate, I know I've said to the committee many times that travel, I think travel is so important for students. It is not something that all students get to do. And I just hearkened to one parent that was so passionate last year, talking to me like he expressed his excitement all year long about his child being able to go to DC because he remembered it, and how influential it was for him when he was a 8th grader, and he wasn't sure what kind of opportunity she would get again to leave the state or do a big trip like this. So in addition to all of the educational content impact, it also has just a lasting impact on students, the ability to travel with a bunch of trusted adults and peers, and taking a vastly different experience than our own 3 towns. And so I am always amazed at how much the students take away and come back with. Back to you, Kyle.
Okay, thanks. Again, thank you for having us. I think my colleagues have done a great job of explaining the purpose of the trip and the value to it. I do want to reiterate again, it is a tremendous amount of work that falls on the grade level teachers to get this trip up and running. And they do this because they too know very much how important it is for our students. And I think that speaks volumes to the communities that we work in and the school district that we work for. Many other school districts, including local school districts near us, stopped sending students away for these types of trips in 2020. And we were blessed with your support to continue to do these types of things. And our students very much are the benefactors of that. There is a lot of great memories and there's a lot of great educational things, but I would be foolish to not also say there's just a lot of fun. There's just silliness that kids get into. It's harmless, it's enjoyable fun for them. They feel that independence that they've earned from going through those 8 years in our school district. And we're really fortunate to have teachers who want to organize it, and a school committee and families that make sure that every and all student is able to go, despite their financial need or despite their, any obstacle. So I believe all the information you might need is there within your packets, and like Superintendent Downing said, we will come back and provide you with more specifics around who our chaperones are. But thank you for your time, and if you've have questions, I suppose this is the time to fire away.
All right, fantastic. I just want to say thank you to Coach Schulz coming to our meeting on the heels of a great Nashoba basketball victory. Well done, Coach. Yay. Guys, what questions do you have about the Washington, D.C. trips? Anything at all?
I will say, Madam Chair, the only thing I'm disappointed in is that when Representative Trahan hosts 3rd District Day, it doesn't look like I'll be down there when our students are there this time. So, alas, I will have to adapt.
Oh, well. I'm noticing, so I'm so sorry if I missed this. I'm noticing that Hale is still going in June of this year. Are we going to transition to the fall next year? Or will we stay in the spring?
For Burbank, we're continuing to go in the spring.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Yes, both Lancaster and Stowe are going to continue in the spring.
Yeah. Bolton, Florence Sawyer went this year kind of as a pilot. There was some thought it might be cheaper. Economically more advantaged, but it's only about $100 difference, and to see what it's like. In speaking with our coordinator, they're pretty passionate about keeping it in the spring, but we do want to find a time where all 3 coordinators could have a conversation so they can hear directly about the fall experience and not secondhand. So
got it. No big deal. Again, so grateful that you guys are doing this, that you take the kids. It is not easy on adults, and a lot of schools have trouble getting adults to chaperone these enormous experiences, and it just never feels that way in Nashoba. You guys want to take the kids, you want to give this to them, so we appreciate it so much. So if nobody has any more questions, this will be in the consent agenda again next time, and we will get an update in advance to understand what the chaperone situation is for sure. All right, that's going to do it. So thank you again to our principals and our dean for coming here. We really appreciate your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So moving the agenda now to right past unfinished business, but to subcommittee report outs. Is there a subcommittee that would like to share anything in particular? Nothing new on the school building committee front?
No, nothing new, Madam Chair.
But although it is making amazing progress, very exciting.
It is. I will just make a side note, Madam Chair, that we will be getting a presentation on solar at our next meeting. So looking forward to that.
Excellent. And that's in February, right?
That's the February meeting, yes. I believe that's the meeting right after February vacation. Or is that the 12th? I don't have my calendar in front of me.
And I don't have it in my, oh no, I do. It is the 12th, February 12th. It's the meeting where if anybody from the community wants to hear more about the potential for solar, we're pretty far down the road on that in regard to, we've set up all of the necessary things that we would need for credits and things like that if the committee agrees to go forward with it. If the school building committee thinks that it's a good idea, then it will need to be approved by the school committee.
That's right.
So it would be a contract that the school committee would enter, and so you all would have to be the ones to agree to that. So if the school building committee advises it, we will let you know.
So at the second meeting, 1 month from now, we'll brief the committee on that school building committee meeting. But I do encourage our committee to watch online the presentation on the 12th.
Any other subcommittee share-ups? All right, it looks like it might be time for items for the next agenda. So let's see. Alita, do you have it handy? Yes, you do. So the February 11th meeting, obviously the proposed budget update will be significant. We'll also have a capital submittal update, but Kirk, that's not necessarily, nothing will change from what we heard in December, will it?
No. And Mr. Mulcairn, I guess we can't talk about it tonight, but we can certainly talk about that in our planning session.
Okie doke. You are also going to be bringing to us the program of studies.
That is the typical meeting we bring it to you.
And that is largely because the high school students are on the verge of course selection for the following year.
That is correct.
Okay. All right, so I expect that the budget update will take a good portion of the meeting. I will be in person. Is that right, Alita? I can't see it. Yes, in person.
Yes.
Anything that anybody would like to add to this? Request an agenda item? All right, fantastic. If something comes to you, just feel free to email me and I can add that. Many things in the works right now. I thank all of you for your time and your energy pushing forward all of the plans. I'm going to move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Jackie. Let's take the vote. I vote yes. Jackie?
Yes.
Jillian?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Shondor?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
And Amy?
Yes.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.